Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Mooney.
And I'm Amanda Gomez. We begin with the latest on the first execution in the state in nearly a decade.
With all appeals exhausted, the state carried out the execution of Clarence Dixon today. This execution coming 8 years after the botched execution of Joseph Wood. All executions have been on hold since.
News 4 Tucson's Lupita Murillo is live for us in Florence tonight with more. Lupita.
Today it took Clarence Dixon 11 minutes to die. In 2014, it took Joseph Woods 2 hours and 15 injections.
Last execution that I witnessed was that of Joe Woods 8 years ago. We've talked a lot about that, the botched execution as it's called. That did not go as planned. This one did. This one went exactly as I think a DOC planned for it to do. Dixon never made eye contact with us.
Troy Hayden, a media witness, talked about the new methods.
We were actually able to see the IVs go in. That's something that's never been done before, and it was a new rule that was just put in.
It took 44 years for the Bowden family to see justice for Dina. She was an ASU student with her whole life ahead of her. Clarence Dixon was found guilty of rape and murder. A jury deliberated for 17 minutes. The victim's sister also witnessed Dixon die. She says not a day goes by that she doesn't think of her little sister.
And she was the one who was supposed to have an exciting career, get married, and produce grandkids for my mom. But it didn't work out that way for her.
Leslie has attended 43 hearings in 20 years. Dina was just 8 hours shy of her college degree, a degree ASU posthumously gave Leslie 2 years ago.
I wish you all could have known her. I have just one request of you. All my mom ever wanted was that people would remember Dina. Please remember Dina Lynn Bowden.
The next execution is scheduled for next month. That's Frank Jarvis Atwood, who was convicted of killing 8-year-old Vicki Lynn Hoskinson nearly 40 years ago. Reporting live from Florence, Lupita Murillo, News 4 Tucson.
Thank you, Lupita. A small group of people gathered outside of that prison to protest Dixon's execution and opposing capital punishment.
And Dina Bowden's sister says her own views on the death penalty changed throughout the decades-long process. News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink picks up our coverage tonight on this part of our coverage, also live from Florence. Eric.
Amanda, the death penalty has been one of the most controversial practices in America for decades. And Arizona's first execution in almost 8 years did not come without criticism today. Dina Bowden's sister says she hates the word closure.
This is finality for this process, and it's relief. It was way too long. This process was way too long.
Leslie James waited 44 years for justice for her younger sister Dina. That relief came at 10:30 this morning when Clarence Dixon was pronounced dead. Before his execution, a small group of death penalty opponents protested outside the prison.
I am strongly opposed to the death penalty. I don't think taking a life is proving anything. And I know that it has been 8 years since we've last had one, and we had a big fail.
My thinking has changed and evolved having gone through this. I think that, again, it's a very personal, everyone grieves personally and differently. If you don't care for the law that's in place, then there are steps to try to get the law changed, but that is the law.
And Clarence Dixon is the 38th death row inmate to be executed here in Arizona since 1992. We'll have a complete wrap coming up tonight on News 4 Tucson at 10. Live in Florence, I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson.